who is currently on an official mission. The Honorable Minister Sise has asked that I extend his apologies and wish us the best in today's Mansa Kunda, which will be presented by the Ministry of Digital Economy. As you are all aware, the ministry was renamed as Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy in 2023 under the leadership of His Excellency the President Adama Barrow, which is now MOGDI. The ministry typically oversees policies, regulations, and initiatives related to communications, information, technology, and digital economy in the country. Some of the key responsibilities which the Honorable Minister and his team will be presenting constitute the international collaborations, e-governance, cybersecurity, digital transformation, ICT development, telecommunication regulations, etc., just to name a few. Today, the proceedings is as follows. We have the Honorable Minister who will make some presentations. Then we will have formal introduction from the members of the high table. Then we will open the floor to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to start from the Honorable Minister to make the formal introduction. Honorable Minister, you are welcome, sir. Thank you.
Cabinet colleague, Honorable Minister for Law and Basic Education, my very able Secretary to the Cabinet and Head of Civil Service, very senior government officials, permanent secretaries, very senior heads of government institutions, the diplomats, distinguished audience and media present. Good evening to you all. I have promised our staff that this is going to be a different Mansa Kunda. Different because the subject itself, that is the scope of our operation as a ministry, would make it a big difference. Different because the activities that we've been really dealing with in the past 1 year would show us the difference. Different because it is a sector without which none of us can live now. And yet, it's a sector sometimes you are in, we never realize you're actually inside this sector. So we are a sector that represents almost everybody. Don't be surprised if I say we even represent others that you don't see. It's a sector we can live virtual, and we can also live with you and you see us. And for that reason only, I am honored to be here today to update you and the people of the Gambia on the activities of the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, we wish to extend our profound appreciation to the Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services for convening Mansa Kunda Ministerial Town Hall. This is a platform which is highly instrumental in enhancing the visibility of government programs, promoting transparency, accountability, and fostering vital dialogue with the Gambian public on our national policy directions and achievements. As you may recall, just like the Secretary of the Cabinet highlighted, that a ministry existing before called MOIC, Ministry of Information and Communications Infrastructure, was decoupled in May 2022 into two standalone ministries. One is MOCDI, Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, and the other one is Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services. So, as twins, we all come as product of that existing ministry. And this is as a result of the government's decision to look at the possibility within the area-focused National Development Plan, Outcome 7.4, showing government's commitment to building an inclusive, prosperous, and digitally empowered nation. So the communications and digital economy sector is critical, enabler to Gambia's social and economic transformation by strengthening digital infrastructure and promoting ICT adoption across all sectors of the Gambia. And this is because it can accelerate inclusive growth, enhance government service delivery, amongst others. But now as we are here today, it's very important we look at three issues before I go into the details of the report or presentation. And these specifics are, what is this sector that we are saying we are dealing with as a ministry? And who are the stakeholders? And more importantly, what is the contribution of this sector to our country and to each of you and each Gambian? Our ministry, number one, is dealing with all matters digital technologies, which could be the different things you are using and you access, a 5G, artificial intelligence, big data, Internet of Things, machine learning, name it. Anything digital in terms of technology. Secondly, we are also dealing with digital infrastructure. Our very essence of being here today, the tools we are using to communicate with the rest of the Gambia, the technologies we are adopting today for them to hear us and see us, all those fall within the domain of our ministry. So hence the digital infrastructure is key. Any communication network in this country, physical, infrastructure for telecommunications, fixed lines, wire lines, digital systems, are all within the mandate of this ministry. Digital services and platforms. You will realize for the past 5 years, there is that growth in many digital platforms in this country. Sometimes now we don't have to go to the banks. We can transfer money to anybody, to any account, to any institution you are using platforms. Those technologies and the platforms are all matters that fall within the ministry's mandate. Digital services, it's key. A good number of them are there today in the forms of applications and application services. Those are also within the mandate and domain of the ministry. And you have a number of the stakeholders here today who have something to do with each of these aspects. E-government and digital transformation is also equally within the mandate of the ministry. And then, since I'll be elaborating more on them with the details, let me just list them. And innovation and ecosystems are also within the mandate of the ministry. Digital inclusion and skills development, also within the mandate of the ministry. And more importantly, cybersecurity and data protection. I am sure you know what is happening in Senegal at the very moment, based on what we saw on the social media, if it is correct. If you don't secure your networks and service delivery, you can be held at bay. That's why cybersecurity and data protection is key. Just recently, the data protection, personal data protection legislation was passed by the parliament. Now, that is the sector itself. It's so broad. But who are the stakeholders and its contribution? Let me first start with the contribution. It may be seen as a ministry which is not very much well known, because it's very new, like the SC said. But we are proud to say we have the largest, the biggest, and somehow most productive taxpayers within our sector. It is us that are pushing and driving the growth wherever you see and wherever you can find it. In 2023, we have a total GDP of about, from our sector, the entire total GDP of the country was about $148.1 billion. Out of that, our sector actually contributes or represents 3.8 billion as at that time, which significantly increased to almost 4 billion 2024-25. But that is just in GDP terms. In 2024, if you look at the employment that we are generating for the country, direct employment, direct, we have about 3,000 people directly employed by this sector. You look at the GSM service providers, the GAMTELs and the GAMCELs and the like. But in terms of revenue now, let me be specific, because I was talking about the GDP. In terms of revenue, the total sector revenue reached $9 billion, which is approximately 120 million US dollars in 2023. This has significantly increased, especially the results, what we are seeing, what is being revealed for 2025. But the 2024 reveals at least a 19.6% contribution to that revenue. As we speak today, we are almost looking at close to 25%. Now, should this not be a sector that we should really all be concerned for its growth and development? Now, having talked about its contribution, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are the telecoms and postal service providers. You will see a good number of them. And then we have, within the ministry, a unit representing telecoms and postal services. Cybersecurity is key. We also have a unit and a directorate. E-government is fundamental. We are dreaming, should I say, we are carving out and pushing for a day very soon, possibly in 2 years or in 1 year, where your interaction, citizens and people's interaction with the government would be online. Businesses' interaction with the government will be online. And even agencies and government itself, its interaction would all be online. Why? We want to reduce the cost of governance and increase efficiency in service delivery. In that, even the tax revenue, you expect it to increase. Just before I forget, in 2022, when we were virtually relying on paperwork, collecting taxes, using papers, sometimes you have to pay directly somewhere. When we change it slightly by applying digital economy tools, a revenue base for the whole country, a whole government for 1 year in 2022 was not more than $10 billion. But once we apply it by 2024, this revenue base increase is not a magic. From 10 billion to almost 20 billion, 800,000 Gambian dollars. What was happening then? You can understand. And this is barely at partially we are just doing something gradual. It's not the entire whole. Possibly we're looking at maybe 20, 25%. So we still want to get that 100%. Once we get there, reliance on other things and loans and whatever agencies is over. We will be able to build for ourselves, and we will be able to completely pay for our own budgets and support it domestically. Now, these key stakeholders under the ministry, those under our ministry, are Gamtel, a lot to talk about, that's the managing director, Mr. Lamin Tunkara. Gamcel, a lot to talk about, this general manager, Pat Fati. Gampost, that is Tom Lamin Cham, the head of Gampost. And obviously, Gambia Information and Communication Technology Agency, that is Dr. Abdul Karim. And also we have partly Pura. We have a lot that we are doing with Pura, a great work for them and for us. So you will see these are all people within this sector that are directly under the ministry. And also, some of the key players are who? Africell, QCell, Comium, NetPage, Unix Solutions, iNet, DK Telecoms, YCell, you name it. Almost over 20 ISPs registered or licensed in this country. Thank you. And then, of course, who else are there within the list that are within the ministry or under ministry is the fintech service providers. Most of the banks, you see, the financial services that they are providing and the technologies they are using, that domain too falls squarely within the mandate of MOCTI. And lastly, software and application service providers or developers. You will recall some months ago, our ministry have called almost all software and application developers in this country for a meeting. We want to put a stop to importing or relying on external software. We want our own country, our own countrymen and women to really develop those softwares needed by the business sector, particularly the banks, and then the public service as well. Measures are put in place for us to push through that. So very quickly, I go through our mission. What do we want to do? We want to create a digital economy for the Gambia. But this digital economy, what is it about? We want to create an economy that feeds on digitalization and digitization, that promotes digitalization and digitization, and that actually encourages service delivery through those digital measures. So in effect, the mission is create a digital economy by leaving nobody outside or behind in this country. And if we have to create that economy, we have to have first universal connectivity. That universal connectivity, when nobody is excluded. Together with what? Innovation. And that innovation based on technologies that are not exclusive. In other words, our focus will be on digital technologies, affordable and secure digital infrastructure, innovation, digital skills, and digital government solutions that drive inclusive socio-economic growth. In terms of vision, we want to empower our society, every citizen, regardless of their location, whether you are in Basse or whether you are in Katong or Koina, wherever you are, the government, the other people in this country, the businesses are all too close to you. You get connected and you can get any service at your fingertips. So our strategic goals focus on that connectivity, building a strong digital infrastructure, fostering local digital entrepreneurship, improving digital literacy, and ensuring secure resilience and efficient e-government and public digital services. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in a year or two to come, if you really want to get a job, we are ready to train you. Qualification would be everybody is expected to be a graduate in the use of digital technologies. It is fundamental. So our line institutions, like I said, are the ones we expect to help us to roll out, achieve some of these targets we have carved out for ourselves. GAMTEL, headed by Mr. Lamin Tunkara. Remember, GAMTEL was established in 1984. I call GAMTEL the mother of all ICT network and service providers in this country. It is a company that makes almost all of us here on this high table, particularly myself speaking to you. And they are still doing so many great things that we will reveal to you. GAMCEL, headed by Mrs. Fatu Fati. Remember, it was created in 2001. So many things happen. So many things happen. As a result of which, GAMCEL is where it is today. But I'm happy to say, under the able leadership of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, President Adama Barrow, he has vowed to say, GAMCEL will never die. And I am committed to making so that that commitment he exhibits to all of us, we carry it to the letter. For GAMPOST, Gambia Postal Services. Some of you may be saying, what is happening? Because right now you use your email and send emails anytime. But with the transformation that the society and the globe is going through now, all businesses, including that of Gampost, must reposition themselves. Reposition to a point that they will be fit to survive within the national ecosystem as well as within the international competitive market. So, it was established in 1989, Gampost, but we have started the process of repositioning Gampost. Some of the details will come out very quickly. And also, GICTA, Gambia Information Communication Technology Agency, headed by Professor Abdul Karim Jallo. You will ask me why GICTA? If you want a government to become wholly e-government, or a digital government for that matter, because digital government is an advanced form of an e-government. If you want to have that, you must have an agency that would be spearheading government projects to making government e and digital. So one of the reasons why GICTA is created is to facilitate that. They are into so many things. Government infrastructure for communications or digital services. Government digital services themselves. Standards that we have to look at to apply. Security issues within that digital service delivery. Among many other things fall within the mandate. So, what are we doing? We are doing a number of, or carrying out a number of reform measures, especially with the state-owned enterprises. Sometimes I like to call them, Gamtel, a private company registered under the Companies Act of the Gambia. But of course, it's owned by government of the Gambia, it's owned by the state. So you will realize that, why do we have to make those changes? Almost 10 years ago, or before 2017, a lot was happening to Gamtel. The very nerve of their revenue, where they were getting the revenue source from, that's the international gateway. For almost 10 good years, that management was taken away from Gamtel. It was the creme de la creme. Hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. Foreign gateway managers were engaged, and they were running it for us at a cost known to them. But the only cost that we know is that we have lost a lot. For that reason, they could not invest into their network. A telecommunications network that cannot invest in its own network for the past 1 decade or so, if you want that particular network to compete and not to die, you have to prepare them to reposition themselves as an institution, but also to go about building a network that is responsive to the needs of today. So we're trying to do that repositioning for both Gamtel and Gamcell. So you might have heard, in summary, I'll just summarize it, that we started restructuring exercise for both Gamtel and Gamcell. Remember, generally under the companies law and labor law in this country and many other countries, if a business is not doing well, what do? You reorganize. You go and say, we want to reorganize ourselves, and then people get ready, 2 months, 3 months notice, and they leave. Under our law, maximum you can give some of them, if you want to really make them redundant, is about 6 months. But His Excellency, the President, said no. We will give them more than that to make them comfortable. So there was a study conducted. We reached out to the World Bank, and there's what we call the social plan and its implementation. We realized that for Gamtel and Gamcell, What were some of the problems? You took away the gateway revenue for years. They were depending on basically a very small part of the revenue that they were just having. But at the same time, the institutions were the key employers in this country. If you want security job, you don't have a job, you go there, they give you security. You don't have any job, whatever, you take an auntie or uncle there, they make him a cleaner. You have people down there say we can go and do civil works. You have others working in the power division, customer care. I am yet to go halfway, but let me just trust. So this is what is happening. Now you have a company whose staff base, cleaners, please follow me, cleaners, security, civil works, and power, and customer service. If you look at all of them, put them together, almost more than 80%. And this is not the core workforce. It's not the core. They just extra services they are performing, cleaning and other things. And they take almost the whole revenue. Do you want them to be effective and competitive in this environment with other operators, the way those ones are doing? And thirdly, unfortunately, our procurement system. You want them to go and compete with another entity. Those ones, even if they want to buy a kettle in 1 minute, order is given, they go and buy it. If Gamtel wants it, 6 months. By the time they get that kettle, it's outdated. This is what is happening. So we are repositioning. So let me just run very quickly. We have it in 3 phases. Phase 1, 486 staff of Gamtel Gamcel have all decided to voluntarily leave. And we have given them very adequate compensation. Those, if it is 6 months who are supposed to get 100,000, you can ask most of them today. 500, 600, 700,000, 1 million. That's what they have. Government pays. And in addition to that, we've also paid them 6 months. We are paying them 6 months. You give them a package, and in addition, you give them another 6 months pay. We call that a notice period. They are very happy out there. And I've received so many telephone calls thanking us because some of them have started now buying lands. Although we are encouraging them not to go and get married for the second time. So we also are going into the second phase, which is preparation is underway for voluntary early retirement. 155 staff are going to be affected. And the phase 3 and 4, 182 staff are going to go on the retirement by redundancy. All these are measured. And each person affected is paid substantially and comfortably. So for this process also to go, we have established a grievance redress mechanism that is actually going to be looking at this. Now for Gamtel and its current activities, you realize that a company that was generating a few millions before, let me just recognize the efforts of the managing director. From a revenue base of about maybe 70, 40, 50 million dollars in those days, you collect it in a year. Today, we are proud to say at least they have crossed the line of 593 million. Thank you so much, MD. Of course, there are connectivity challenges there. The ACE cable system, we are working something around that. Cross Gambia cable, thank you so much for coming up with that project. And then the CG2, that is Cross Gambia Cable 2, they have also come up with that, connecting us terrestrially via Senegal so that we can use that as a backup. Now, on the issue of capacity, a company that was using a capacity of almost 7.5 gig, now they have gone as far as 35 gig. No wonder the money, the 593 million. So we are preparing a lot for more upgrade, for which the government has approved another project for Gamtel to a tune of $50 million to upgrade their network, to expand it. And let me tell you, once that project comes in and it gets started and completed, the market dynamics will change. And this is government investment. We are happy to do it. but it's also going to serve as a resource for the other operators as well. Now, for the postal sector, you will recall very recently, the postal services actually signed a contract with BB Money. And then this is just a technology tool we want to use so that we change the dynamics of their competition and their presence in the market. Of course, there are challenges, and you must have heard about the United States declaration from 0 to 80, whatever, that you are supposed to pay some things. That will come in the question time, and I'll give you more details on it. But it's actually affecting. But of course, in the recently concluded Universal Postal Union, the meeting in Dubai, we have partly addressed that issue because it's challenging not only the Gambia, but quite a number of countries that are actually also having those postal services. And then we want to commercialize GamPost. We want to really address the challenge of the impact of the US executive order, and we also want to address some of their infrastructure constraints as well as financial constraints. In that, we want to make sure that they are able to provide last mile delivery through giving them some logistic supports and passenger transportation service facilitation. That will be done from our end, possibly with a facilitation from Pura, which is currently here, and some capital investment as well as infrastructure rehabilitation. Now, on one of the GICTA, Gambia Information Technology Agency, they provide a technical oversight for the development of digital ID system in this country. All of us will have a digital ID. Through that, many possibilities are there. I don't need to elaborate more on that, but it's as good as saying you can use one particular small tool device in your hand for almost everything, So thank you so much, GICTA, for being there for us, as well as the development of a government-wide enterprise architecture. And their pursuit of our redelegation of the .gm domain redelegation, the .gm domain name. We want to have it redelegated into this country, and then they are spearheading that as well. Now, for Pura, you all know what Pura has been doing in this country. It's just that they sometimes don't advertise themselves. I wonder why. But remember, these are people who are very powerful. Powerful in terms of the responsibilities given to them by the law. They are regulating transportation services, water, air, and land transportation. They are regulating energy, all these NAVIC and other things and solar, whatever you have in this country, they are to regulate it. They are equally regulating sanitation services. They are regulating communication services as well in this country. So you look at the infrastructure for almost all those. So where do we have a relationship with them? Is the communication services. In terms of licensing, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the standards of that particular infrastructure, for which Pura has done a number of things. They carried out a number of studies. Cost of service of telecom sector study, infrastructure sharing study, per second billing study, ECOWAS roaming initiative, so that when you go to ECOWAS countries, roaming can be easier for you, and of equally monitoring and quality of service assurance that they are providing. The EMF monitoring, quality of experience monitoring, quality of service monitoring, as well as market regulation in this country. They also have or provide broadcasting oversight in this country. So they are doing a lot of things, all in total, making sure that you license them and you regulate them properly and effectively. What are some of our recent achievements? Let me beg some few minutes from the SC. The achievements that we have for the sector, a lot of liberalization of the telecom sector actually is seen or witnessed during the time of this government, for which we have a mobile penetration rate of almost 130%, more than any West African country. Internet growth is also expanding. Average annual growth, 24%. And this has the broadband, the fixed broadband, has reached approximately 15%. We are establishing a modern policy and regulatory framework that covers almost everything that we do for the sector concerned. The national spectrum policy, we have developed it, and it is actually validated, waiting for cabinet to approve. The national data policy, the same. Infrastructure sharing regulations is the same, which is just completely validated. And then we have the gateway traffic measuring and revenue assurance system is equally validated. We want to make sure that for taxation and tax revenue, we do not want any leakage. All operators in the country, and they are ready to say, come, we have nothing to hide, but we want to make sure that we are all comfortable. So that system is going to be looking at all traffic in a passive form to know what comes in and what goes out of the country. That system and its regulation is developed by the ministry, and the system is there now, almost at the point of initiation to start the work. National Emergency and Telecommunications Plan is ready, and we are also implementing the National Dig One policy. We don't want you dig, NAVEC brings in there. The next day you dig, a telecom service provider brings it. The next day you dig, another person comes to store some. We want one dig policy where one pipe would be able to keep together all those services that you intend to put them within the pipe. So there will be no more digging of the lanes once that policy is effectively implemented. And the development of the National Digital Government Policy also is complete. And we are now executing a National Digital Addressing Project as well. You will be surprised to know that the ministry has almost completed the registration of almost, or having an address system, registering almost 193,000 properties, that is for residencies, businesses, and landmarks in the West Coast region, and 80,730 physical addresses board, all throughout, for efficient postal and courier delivery, for growth of e-commerce, and for rapid responses. All we are doing is to make sure that everywhere you go, every property, every residence has an address, a digital address, so that we can use them in this digital ecosystem we are developing. Now, the new communication bill, we have sent it to the Parliament. It went through the first reading. We are happy to announce that. We are equally enhancing international connectivity. That is the second submarine cable. We need a second submarine cable for the country. The AS cable is almost too old now. And you'll be surprised. The internet you are having, the calls you are making, those applications you are using, that access you are having is all going through one pipe. And that pipe is the ACE cable from the Gambia to the rest of the world. That cable is one. Other countries have 2, 3, and 4. It's expensive to lay it down, but we have no option. If ACE goes down today, the next day, cost of your services are likely going to go up if you want to use the terrestrial link, using those links via Senegal. And we think it's important strategically to get this second submarine cable. And His Excellency is pushing us through. And through the Wadi project, we now have at least $25 million to kickstart that project, and we have started it a long time ago. And then, of course, the ECOWAS free roaming I talked about. Gambians, we are facilitating for those traveling to ECOWAS region, particularly Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, to come through or go through what we call a process of free roaming. That would also be communicated in the dialogue. And we are deploying a secure government LTE network system, and then the GovNet, that is government-wide area network, as a project. We also have what we call the development of MyGov integrated service platform for government service delivery, and the development of government information web portal and the mobile application is also almost complete. Upgrading the e-government data center and disaster recovery site, almost complete. Development of a government-wide enterprise architecture, I earlier on mentioned it, through JICTA. And of course, there is a study currently going on the critical information infrastructure protection, which is also being conducted through the WADI project. E-Gambia Power Project Feasibility Study Initiative is also there. And lastly, of course, the cybersecurity and digital forensic enhancement. These are all projects that we can proudly say we have. And a few more projects that we have is the We Elevate project, Smart Africa Alliances, the projects that they are having, and then the National Internet Cost Reduction Strategy, already highlighted in that of PURA, what they are intending to do, establishment of a national data center, national postal regulatory framework, as well as developing an AI policy for the country. Lastly, we also have bilateral and multilateral relationships. You'll be surprised that we have bilateral relationship with our sister ministry in Senegal, Mauritania, Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria, Mauritius, Russia, Cote d'Ivoire, and Estonia. where we are looking at few measures that we can agree on and copy from them or they copy from us. At the multilateral level, we have Smart Africa Alliance. We look at them, Digital Cooperation Organization. This is based in Saudi Arabia. They have done a lot for us, and hopefully we'll continue to do a lot with them, especially when it comes to building the second submarine cable or a third submarine cable for the country. And I wouldn't want to finish without mentioning the International Telecommunications Union and the People's Republic of China as well. China, you recall. A few weeks ago, I was there, and I've had opportunity representing His Excellency the President. I've had opportunity of actually discussing with my brother minister responsible for commerce and information technology. We are looking at possibilities of looking at projects like submarine cable system, government data center, e-government integration, and many other things. And I think we are happy to announce that because we can see that is something that they would want to help us. Lastly, on the Wadi project, we also have a project under the ministry. This project is actually having a scope that would deliver activities having the cost of almost 50 million United States dollars. Out of this $50 million, 25 million is for the second submarine cable system. But in summary, the project is there for connectivity, market development, and integration in West Africa, as well as a single market, creating a single digital market for us so that we can be well positioned in West Africa, data market development and integration, online market development and integration, as well as its project management and contingency plans. I wouldn't want to list out most of the projects that they have done for us for now, but there are quite a number. And then maybe those ones will come during question time. And may I say, lastly, with all these that I have just summarily discussed, what are we doing as a ministry? We have what we call MOGDI Medium-Term Strategic Plan covering the period 2025-2029. We are looking at enhancing policy, legal and regulatory frameworks, strengthening national digital infrastructure, increasing access to quality and affordable digital government services, promoting the proliferation and adoption of digital services, strengthening cyber resilience, and deepening local and international collaboration. This is what we have within our strategic plan. To conclude, with all this in the background, we now have this new bill in the National Assembly, the Communications Bill. We believe with this communication bill, and I'll strive for a second submarine cable connectivity for the country, and comprehensive reforms of state-owned enterprises, GAMTEL, GAMCEL, GAMPOS particularly, and having a national data center, digital skills strategy for government, for businesses, and for the people of this country, particularly the citizens. And in the GovNet project, if we can deliver all this effectively, and we put them into place before the end of this year or by next year before it's ending, I can assure you, His Excellency's vision to build a digital economy where there is that universal connectivity with serious forms of innovation without any form of exclusion. That vision will be realized. We hope and believe that we'll get your support, and you can count on our willingness and readiness, and more importantly, our ability to deliver that. I am proud to have these people and the staff that we have in the ministries and the agencies for what they are. They have the capacity, the capabilities there to deliver. We only need support. Thank you so much.
He said he is sweating, but he is not sweating because he is scared, because he is enthusiastic in what he does. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and you can give him a round of applause. Honorable Minister, once again, that was really explicit. We have taken much of our time. Every second counts, is very precious. We will now move to the second part of the agenda, that is having the introduction, formal introduction by those on the high table. Just 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Honorable, we start from here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Secretary General. Thank you, Honorable Minister. My Chairman, Board of Directors, Madam Minister, Honorable, those seated audience and those who are zooming from outside. I thank you. My name is Lamin Tunkara, Managing Director, Gamtel, Gamcel. I came to Gamtel in 2020 out of the desire to come back and give to my country and give back to my community. When I got there, I met people who are very much interested in national development. We teamed up and worked together to ensure that we support our government in whatever it is that it has set itself as a priority in terms of this digitalization that the minister was just then talking about. There's so much to say about Gamtel, and I don't know whether we can be able to do that in 3 minutes, maybe not, but I'll just give you just a quick synopsis of some of the things, major things that we did. Gamtel was established through an act of parliament in 1984, just like you said, and it was set up for providing voice service for the community, the Gambian community, the Gambian people or residents. Since then, the company has been a very honorable and robust partner in the government's journey to national development. Its core revenue was through voice service. In 2018, the revenue Gamtel brought in was 1.2 billion. In 2019, as part of government's restructuring plans, the gateway that Gamtel was getting its revenue from was liberalized. But even then, the company was able to come home with 869 million. So gateway was liberalized, and we are left with almost nothing but the voice service and ADSL service. Well, we got hit in 2020 when our revenue fell down to 297 million. When we realized that our revenue source has significantly suffered, we re-strategized, refocused our attention on something that was golden, but I didn't think we took notice of it, which was the fiber. We started deploying fiber across the country, and we're still doing it, the entire length of breadth of the country. I'm proud to say that 2024, our financial reports, like the minister said, we came home with $593 million, and it's counting because we are hoping this year we'll do more. We did a lot with this team that we have and the board that we have. Here's a guy who is very supportive. Last night I called him at 12 midnight just to explain to him some of the issues that we are facing, and he's always there. And I have a team around me. Some have been in Gamtel for over 30 years, and they're still determined. It takes too many to tango, Honorable Minister. This is why some of these results that you were, narrating here happen. Gamtel, when we started in 2020, the backup that you referenced, it was only 7.5, but with the high demand of customers to get fiber portfolio, I mean, we started realizing this and started increasing our capacity. Like he said, currently we are at 35. This and so many other things. And our foresight in ensuring that we create backups for the people of this country, the people that use internet service, because ACE at times go through maintenance. In 2021, 2022, we launched 2 backup links, CG1 and CG2, because I remember there was a high-level meeting, and during the process, there was a cable cut, and ACE was under maintenance. For 7 hours, the entire country was blackout. And my team and I, we promised ourselves and the nation that that will never happen again. Up until today, that has never, because we have 2 backup links in addition to the ACE. So we thank you, we thank the government for the opportunity. And about this project that he just mentioned, if I may, it's been 3 years in the making. And again, we have a team very supportive, up and down, late night meetings. The projection is this: when all is said and done, we have a capacity to connect over 400,000 customers and a revenue of about over $10 billion. That's the projection. We hope that it goes well, and we thank you and look forward to the government support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, MD. Prof. Jallo.
Okay.
Remember that he has taken 1 minute of your 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. Good evening, Secretary to Cabinet and Head of Civil Service, Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education, Permanent Secretaries, Deputy Permanent Secretaries at the Ministry, Directors, staff of all the line agencies, and of course managing directors and general managers, audience, those online and here in the hall. My name is Abdul Karim Jalo, the Director General of the Gambia Information and Communications Technology Agency, JICTA. JICTA is a line agency under the purview of the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. And its mandate is to oversee implementation of all government ICT projects in government, and also to lead the realization of e-government and also the digital economy. What we do is to oversee and also coordinate the implementation of ICT systems and digital services across all ministries. Now, if you have been following this sector, you will realize that for many years, individual ministries, departments, and agencies implement their information systems and applications in silos without thinking about integration and interoperability. And if you want a digital economy, if you want an e-government system, if you want to implement a digital government system, you need to enhance or facilitate integration and interoperability between your government systems in order to facilitate seamless sharing of data and information, and also to help facilitate data-driven decision-making, especially in the era of AI in which we live today. So we help ministries, departments, and agencies from the initiation of their ICT projects through the entire life cycle of those systems, to the design, to the building of the systems, and also implementation and help in operationalization. Another thing that we are also mandated to do is to help create standards and guidelines on how we design, implement, and operationalize those systems. As the Honorable Minister was saying, we are also mandated to help bring in digital services to help the government to interface with the citizens. We live in the digital era. I think we should move away from that manual and paper-based governance system, and also to help facilitate easy access to government services to the citizens. At least you should be able to be in Basse and apply for a passport and apply for an identity card, right? You don't need to travel all the way to come to Banjul to get those services. That's what happened in the developed world. And that is a mandate that falls within our services, within our functions. And we have started doing that. We are collaborating with the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, who have a project with the Bangladeshi government. And we are piloting 5 services currently. So very soon, I am pretty sure it should be part of the results that will be discussed here, but very soon, Gambians should be able to have access to apply for passports online, as well as identity card, as well as driver's license, and also to apply for birth certificates online, and also to do your business registration without having to go and walk physically into any office. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, DJ.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Sure.
Good evening, Honorable Secretary of Cabinet and Head of Civil Service. Good evening, Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, the Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education, senior government officials here present, colleagues from Gampost and from other satellite institutions. My name is Lamin. I am the Managing Director of the Gambia Postal Services Corporation. In short, we call it Gampost. I moved to the postal sector, I think 2 years this month, having served quarter of a century in the air transport industry. As we all know, Gampost has been existing before we call it post office. It has been existing since colonial days. I think a look at our buildings will confirm to you that, yes, these were colonial structures. So we understand in those days, it was a very viable institution that normally when people close from work around Maghrib towards Isa time, and then before people going to bed, you'll see a whole lot of people at the post office busy writing letters. That was the order of the day. But apparently, technological advancement has rendered some of the postal services actually obsolete. And as the Honorable Minister pointed out, now, as a way forward, we have to reposition ourselves. And this is what we have actually embarked on. With the help of the government, the ministry, the board, and of course management, we are trying to reposition. And as a result, as the Honorable Minister pointed out, about a month or 2 ago, we have signed a mobile wallet agreement with a fintech company in the UK. It's called BB Money. And of course, one of our local partners is also Nifty ICT Solution. We have to move fintech because when technological advancement rendered your products obsolete, the answer is to diversify. So as part of that diversification program, we will, at the end of this month, launch our mobile wallet. The name of the wallet, we call it Sutura, the Sutura wallet. We have actually made a whole lot of research about this, and we have come to the conclusion that this word is virtually used by all the languages in the country. It's very common. This is owned by the government, and then that is why we want to make it Gambian. The essence is to ensure that Gampost is able to generate revenue that will support its operations. But of course, there is more to the wallet. If you go to other countries, for example, Kenya, they use what we call M-Paso. And with this M-Paso, Kenya has now become more or less a cashless economy. So making Gambia a cashless economy is also part of our plans. It's in line with our line ministry's plans. So with this Sutra wallet, today I can confirm that before we close, our technicians in the UK have completed integrating with all the commercial banks in the country. I think they are 13 in number. And on Monday, we will start to test internally how it works. The person-to-person money transfer is already complete. Purchase of airtime, cash power is also completed. What we are waiting for is our integration with the commercial banks, because we want to definitely change the financial landscape of the Gambia once and for all, where we will gain a cashless economy. If you go to the supermarkets, you don't have to carry physical cash. You go to petrol stations, there is no need to carry physical cash. It is a Friday, the salary has gone in, but apparently you are on the way home, rushing to go to Juma prayers. So you cannot go to the bank. There's nothing to worry. Sit in your house, you can move your salary from your salary account to the wallet. And in the evening, you can take a walk across the highway and then go to the nearest agent and have your salary. So inshallah, on the 30th of this month, October, we are going to do a launch of the wallet, and it will be live. So from now against that, we'll be doing the testing to ensure that the platform is perfect and ready for use by all Gambians. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chow.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, Secretary to Cabinet, honorable ministers that are here today, directors. I think it's already on.
It's
here.
on, yes, please.
Directors that are present here, the audience, and also the media houses. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize the presence of our board chairman. He has always been supportive. I am not surprised to see him in this crowd today. My name is Fatou Fati. I am the General Manager for GAMCEL. I think I just want to take this opportunity to announce that recently government has approved a PPP for GAMCEL as well. This PPP will not only be an agreement on paper, but it is going to transform GAMCEL. This initiative, I can tell you, it will position GAMCEL better so that GAMCEL can effectively compete in this market. Most importantly, we know GAMCEL. Yai borom, njeka judu njeka ba. So I just want to assure the general public that they need to support GAMCEL. You need to trust in GAMCEL and stand by GAMCEL, especially when this PPP is implemented. We know GAMCEL is the only Gambian 100, it's the only GSM company that is owned by Gambian 100%. So I want to also ask from the general public to support GAMCEL. And I think that's all for me.
Thank you very much. Thank you, madam. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions coming up. People are itching, but we will now identify any other person who can translate this into our local languages. We are able to do that, Honorable Minister. Oh, thank you. You are here.
Yes, sir. Good evening, honorable ministers, secretary to cabinet, and other dignitaries here present. So, I said local languages, but I think it's only Wolof. And I'm even struggling. I don't know how even to say internet or some of those in Wolof. The Mandinkas, they already have a way, Jaman Labang, but the Wolofs and Fullers and Jolas, they're still struggling. But we'll see. Bokay, nyung fi pour jotali kadu yu honorable minister wa si Olof. Honorable minister, Lamin Jabbi, moy minister bu am affaire yi jumtukaay internet bi. Wax na fi wax yu bari nak si ministre bi lu ñoo yëngu bokk si affaire yi jumtukaay digital yi yu ñoo wax digital ay plateforme tam. Wax na fi tam affaire yi AI mooy xarañ si xelu machine. Wax na tam affaire yi payment system mooy maanaam daal naka la ñoo mën a fay si jaww ji ak affaire yi e-government mooy naka la ñoo mën a amee jumtukaay pour nguur gi di ko jëfandikoo. So yii yëpp banxaas la yoo xam ne suñu ministre bi mooy digital economy dañ si dee yëngu. Wax na fi tam lu am solo ne njëriñi digital economy ministre bi ak lan la nekk di yokka suñu économie bi fi mu nekk nii soo xoolee digital economy mu ne dem na ba ay ñetti junne liggéey yoo xam ne mun na koo créer directly ak junne yoo xam ne sax indirectly te suñu xoolee si naamo buñ dee collectam dem na ba si juróom-ñeneenti billions yi dalasi yoo xam ne secteur bi daf ko dee mën a dugal si keesi nguur gi at gu nekk waaw loolu nga xam ne représente na lu dem ba si 20% si wàlli contribution si wàlli naamo boo xam ne mu ngi dugal si government bi ministre bi tam wax na fi affaire yi ministère bi naka la taxawee ak different departments yu fa nekk briefly mooy yu demee ni ki telecoms ak postal service mooy service di postal bi wax na fi tam affaire yi cyber security mooy xarañ si cyber bi ñu make sure ne suñ dëkk bi bam mu ngi aaru wax na fi tam affaire yi e-government mooy nguur gi si jaww ji ak also wax na département boo xam ne ñoom ñoo amee jumtukaay internet bi di defar luwaay pour loolu noonu si ministre bi tam wax na affaire yi ministre bi département yoo xam ne ñu ngi si ronam mooy Gamtel Gamcel ñu wax fii léegi Gampos ak Gambia ICT Agency moom nag nga xam ne bunta boo xam ne la mooy taxawal wala di amal jumtukaay internet yi si biir nguur ku ko ñu ko jiite yëpp nekk fi ministre tam wax na affaire yi gis-gisam si secteur bu mu nekk di liit nii mooy ne moom lu mu bugg mooy dëkk boo xam ne dëkk bu am doole la Gambia nekk dëkk bu am doole si jumtumaay internet bi pour ñëpp mun see jot moom tam wax na ne itam mooy ne pour yokk jumtuwaay internet bi ba képp ku nekk Gambia tam mun see jot yokk métier bi si jumtuwaay bi parce que xam nañ ne jumtuwaay bi mun naa indi métier yu bëri su fekkee ne dimbale nañ suñ doomi réew yi bañ am bañ xam métier bi nekk si moom ministre bi wax na ne yu moo gën a yëngut yu moo gën a amal solo lu moo gën a fulaal mooy naka la ñoo yokkee jumtuwaay internet yi ba ñëpp mun see jot mu yomba naka la ñoo defaree doolelee jumtuwaay yi ba nga xam ne yu mel ni comme submarine cable ñu am koog data center yu ñoo wax noonu moom tam wax na naka la ñoo mën a yokkee liggéey bi si secteur bii nii ak also naka la ñoo mën a dimbalee suñ ndaw yi comme lu ñu doon wax rek jox leen xam-xam boo xam ne pour affaire yi jumtuwaay internet yi la ak tam naka la ñoo yokkee wala suñ internet bi ba nga xam ne wala jumtuwaay internet bi óor na te itam kenn du mun a dugga sàcca suñ information ak yooyu noonu so moom ministre tam wax na ne government jël na ay jéego yu mat pour xool institution yi nekk si line ministre bi pour jëm leen a suxilaat parce que ñoom ñu bëri ñun xam nañ ne ñu ngi am ay jafe-jafe lu mel ni ki xaalis buñ daan am mënatuñ koo am léegi because business yi dafa change modèle si change amatuñ luñ daan wax gateway comme Gamtel so xaalisam bi bëri dem na si suuf ba nga xam ne fi mu nekk gars yi ñu ngi góorgóorlu rek waaye nekkatu fa so léegi naka lañ koy suxilee government nag def na ay jéego mu ne in terms of yu am solo sax mooy wàññi ñu fa liggéey ba nga xam ne loolu dem na ba ay juróom-ñaar téeméeri ay nit yoo xam ne Gamtel dinañ leen bàyyi ñu dem ñoo xam ne fay nañ leen ba pare mu ne fay nañ leen fay yu takkul ba ñeneen sax ñu ngi ut beneen jabar fi mu nekk nii léegi mu ne fa Gamcel tam the same thing ñu ngi ut ay partnership yoo xam ne private partnership lañ pour ñëw ba nga xam ne dinañ ñëw dugal si Gamcel comme ni ko general manager bi waxee yokk infrastructure bi mu mun a dem si kanam ba fi mu nekk am nañ ba lu toll si juróom-ñeneenti fukk ak ñett si milliards dollars yoo xam ne am nañu ko fa bugg a dugal pour suxil ko Gampos moom tam MD bi mu ngi wax ne business bi change na si service post bi ñëpp xam nañ léegi internet beeg yi moo ko jël ñoom tam ñu ngi def ay jéego yoo xam ne am nañ partnership ak ñu ñuy wax BB Money ba nga xam ne ñu ngi waaj a ñëw am système boo xam ne wala mobile money la boo xam ne dina mën a suxali ñoom tam seen business bi ministre tam wax na fi affaire yi puura si ñoo xam ne ñoo fi responsible pour jubanti ak jubale si wàlli secteur bii nii ak liggéey yu ñoo def ak jàngat yu nekk di def pour di xool secteur bi pour mu jaar yoon moom tam wax na fi affaire yi ECOWAS roaming muy xam ne dëkk yu nekk ECOWAS dañ nangutoo ne dañ ko war a def ba nga xam ne su ma jógee Gambie dugga Sénégal jarul ma change sim card mun naa use suma sim card bi am internet ak yooyu noonu waaye nag dafa xaloon a taxaw ba fi mu nekk bu ñu ñëwee yàlla def na puus nañ ko ba fi mu nekk Ghana ak Sierra Leone yëpp pare nañ pour go live nga xam ne soo fa nemee doo use sa sim card doo change sa sim card bi mun ngaa roam yooyu yëpp pour mu ko seetu tam di also gestu pour tam moo amee affaire gestu bi ak jaar yoon bi si secteur bi nii daal so fi mu nekk tam ñu ngi xool marché bi si secteur bi di make sure ne comme price yi njaay beeg jënda bi yëpp jaar na yoon te ñu ngi see def liggéey bu bëri fi mu nekk léegi ministre bi tam wax na ay few achievement yoo xam ne ministre bi am na ko mooy ne am nañ juróomi GSM operator te am nañ tam ñaar fukki internet providers fi mu nekk nii mu ne Gambia si wàllu nit ñu am mobile lu ëpp téeméer ak ñetti fukki soo ko xaymaa si percentage ñëpp am nañ mobile phone mooy soo ko doon xool Gambian bu nekk am na at least ñaari mobile phone muy lu baax ak internet bi tam mu ngi wane ne mu ngi yokku nit ñaa ngi see jot te di ko jëfandikoo so si wàllu affaire yi luwaa yi nag ministre bi nag defar na luwaa yu bëri for the last 1 year yu demee ni ki spectrum policy data policy information infrastructure sharing dig one policy yëpp dafa am solo pour si secteur bii nii dina tax nit su taxawalee pôle balaa opérateur di dem defaraat beneen pôle dina xool naka laa mun a amee pôle boobu ñoom ñëpp ñu bokk ko ñu fay lu tuuti rek dina tax xaalis boo doon jël di ko defaree pôle mun nga koo dugal feneen pour yokka internet beeg yooyu noonu ministre wax na affaire yi digital addressing mooy yéen ñëpp gis ngeen ko maa ngi ko am ne la si di bes da OS waaw bi mooy adresse board bi xam naa yéen ñëpp gis ngeen ko mooy loo xam ne lu am solo la fi mu nekk ministry bi defar nañ almost 200,000 addresses all together nga xam ne fi mu nekk soo bëggee ut direction soo amee emergency jarul nga naan nit ki ne koofal nii jaaral nii ñëwal ba Johnson ba mun ngaa xool adresse bi rek def ko sa mobile bi mu yóbbu la ba foofu soo fi mu nekk def nañ combo note yooyu noonu yëpp te dañ bugg a def Gambia yëpp mu am muy lu am solo tam loo xam ne tam muy fi mu nekk nii am naa la liggéey lu ëpp si juróom-ñaar fukki Gambien ñoo xam ne ñu ngi fa tam wax na yeneen loi yoo xam ne ñu ngi ko ñëw def mooy communication bill bi pour wécci bu màgget bi pour nga xam ne dinañ mën a régloo télécommunication secteur bi wax na affaire yi ñaari li submarine cable muy lu nga xam ne lu am solo soo xoolee Gambia benn internet cable rek lañ am loolu nga xam ne nag baaxut óorut su doxul rek doo amaat internet fi mu nekk ñu ngi si jubtuwaay yoo xam ne am nañ xaalis bu toll si ñaar fukki millions yi dollars ak juróom loo xam ne World Bank ñoo ko bëgg a joxe pour ñu defar ko ministre tam wax na fi yu bëri daal ak in terms of lu ñuy wax .gm redelegation mooy suñ identité bi naka lañ ko indiwaatee Gambia ak MyGov plateforme boo xam ne jumtuwaay la boo xam ne Gambien bu nekk su paree mun nga faa dem si jaww ji soo bëggee soo soxlaa nguur jarul nga dox ba dem foofu noonu si nguur mun ngaa toog sa mobile wala sa computer nga jëfandikoo nguur jox la service bi te yow jarul nga move lu demee ni ID card soo koy apply passport ak yooyu noonu yëpp di gig da wax nañu fa ministre tam wax na ne am nañ ay ndimbal yu ñu am tam pour yokk xam-xam bi si jumtuwaay jaww ji lu demee ni We Elevate project boo xam ne dimbale na juróom fukki $1,000 ministre bi pour mu jàngal ay ndaw yu jigéen affaire yi jumtukaay jaww ji ak ministre daal daaneel na kàddoom di wax ne moom daal yum technique yi yëpp vision boo xam ne la bëgg na koo achieve te su si amee ndimbali mu ngi see oon ndimbali ñëpp pour ñu dimbale ko gëm na ne lii suñ ko defee Gambia dina nekk dëkk bu am doole si jumtukaay internet bi jërëjëf. Okay, my name is Lang Loom. I'm the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Projects and Programs at the Ministry.
Well done. Thank you. Honorable Minister, we still invite another in Mandarin language. 10 minutes in summary. Time am na yaade. Ikola time motije.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ate isi la Honorable Jabbi la kuma kan ko futandi molma. Ay kuma jamal le fojang bari biranata ay kontondro ke secretary to cabinet la minister adonyolo a member education ana member high table to jang ala director ay be kontong dar ay mo be kontong. Kontondro ko la minister Jabbi tententa kaitan diko atara ministry de ama ministry kari. Blok matakunda do ko bunda be banko kan atala do ko bunda bulobe jele ay o itandi aytan ko jamala mo be tembo mento do ko bundal be be sulala jamala ban do ko joral menna e ka me infrastructure wol be ba atla do ko bunda ko aytan fana ko hani say ni ngaji we ni banking do ko bundal men ka sala sirina so ko ngako dol ta banki wala ni wef ko dol men ke beta de say wol bundal be wol be ba do ko bundal ko do ko bundal fana men yalon ko Mansa Kunda ka ñoo safe ni computer silol la e la pour kamala ñi kayti do ko ci bo ako bunda fana biba atla do ko bunda kono anu ñi jamala ban ferol men ka deda kaje ko nga kukudol findindi ako wol fana bala do ko bundal ko do anu bundal men ka fay ko cyber security wala mu ñi computer do ko ka ke ñamen kan mol ka mol la bundal kati ñame ka fangol suña sungol fana be jele men ka nañi do ko bundal ñi computer silol la e ka suñaro ke je ako bundal fana ba atla ko do ayo be itandi ko ni GSM company fana men be banko ka gamsel be africel e be do ko bundal batale ko do an won bundal men ya lon ko ay lo laytandi ni banko la tañato la katu ko ako bimbe tembo mento o bundal ka mo wuli saba nyon ta do ko wala le an ni na wala karolo fana wol ka bondi soto fe mbala bondi banko la contribution ko na ko bar ka wado soto no million tan nani dola ko do to nani banko ka wol soto bar ni o kono jibe ngi GSM company ka million keme wuli keme sey e ka o contribute no jel ko bar bimbe tembo mento odumo e ka men contribute sa atambida wala because sa e ka billion kono do nyong e ka o bondile ka contribution o ke o be kayna ko men ko ni dola ka ro jibe wuli keme wuli muang million keme wuli million muang anu be kanyanale woto ko ayitandi ko ñi GSM company men be do ko la koto wol mu bundalti men yalon ko be loring pour ñi banko la fanko sita ñaato kaatu ko say be temo men de fan ako ni ko cemolam pasente joro moni lulo be ñi ko do be ka soto ñi banko kan ala ñi company men be do ko la koto wala ko bondi ayitandi fana ko amanda wo company le damala bari bunda ko do fana ba koto ko ni aji be gamtel ba koto le lamin chambe damento jikta ba ko le Abdou Karim be damento gampos ba ko le Lamin chambe damento gamsel fana ba ko le Fati be damento Lamin Cham is the director of Gampos. Lamin Tunkara Lamin the famous Lamin Tunkara is Gamtel MD ay itandi ko science bilata kana wotu mo ni bundal be batada al sorole ba ala de maroto ani president la law anala fasa roto ni bundal be amalla fi fa muk ay ferole dida ata fala ma ko kan ala lafta be ma ko pour ñi kamala gamtel for example ito lamu bunda folo to ñi banko kan ako katu ko lota 1984 ñi bunda folo ñi jamala ban do ko bunda ñi computer do ko men be kering banko kan internet ni fewon be kering gamtel la ko data ñi banko kan an banko talam bay tala futal tembo to mi yalon ko e do ko jitale ko la no Mansa Kunda me tuje a ñaatli la bi ay approval di ay company di la me yalan ko pour na initiative si doko ke même bita million kalulu ay wollandi e pour isi doko ke ko ajikita ko ni wonata ila ko be tambila hinal ko gamti la batada e dol fuji ko wotumo Mansa Kunda ko dama be siri sangi tan commando gamti le doko ko do bundal so de ka me jetwe fon fe nata ko telephone ko ta banda kana kono de ko do be soto je il faut la ka soto e ka doko ke faye ke la modol sange ke la doko joy ka fon beke bar bi Mansa Kunda be je jani Mansa Kunda kana wayo ko do be tebulle man na fen soto doko kono membe mulle fankan atin na ko le soto ako bar bi me temo mento o be boto je le fereng e ka fon fen doko il faut la ka soto wala tinda ko maneje ndara to yayi tan di ko MD fa diabo ko nyame wotumo niaji be wultan na million tan nani e ko dama soto fengoto bari bi e ka men soto atala fo million keme lulu million tan saba e million tan kono do anin saba woto ko gamtel la kol falim batale adum projet me hameta ala 15 million Mansa Kunda men approuvé ni wonata yirwa balbe kala amanda o batala da mal da ko woto mo gamtel kala lalti mi yan ko Mansa Kunda ko do wato la e ka tala jello e mo samana ya fo ya ta do ko la cleaner e tala ya fo ko mota do ko driver e tala ya fo ko mota do ko communication consumer affaire man men ka market ku marché o ka fa gamtel be dal na nganda dunje ako wolu oliati na gamtel ke da bundal mi an ko kamandal do ka mol fayda men do mol siata fala ne tambita o mol na da kanya ne ko mo cemelam mo tan sew be wol mo company do ko dadi sa ibo ko do bola min dole me adne ibo do mo jola do ko la anu ibo ko barake me yalan ko ito si fem bonni no prisi jon wa na company nyim bata bakale so man sa kuna la fero men da o fanala ako ka fa ko social plan wala mi yenti ko man sa kunda ko hanin ne ko do tulata nyante bonda ten ada banyana wafi la kana blalo ko men company do ka mo bande ka ko company bi wafi la gamsel ma wafi de gamsel ma wafi ministère wolof ako bebe tulaje ni katu ko man sa kunda e fero de da ka joko gamtel ye fero de la ye tujang pour ñin kamala ikana tal blato ye kam fa tati o ñamalen gamsel fala yo fero de la wala ne yin company ko mandi pour ye iblodu ñin ko do ka joko e kanata so staff la karole menke je wala mo mon nan ka mo be je asia ko len tale bo wuli million kilin mo wuli kilin ni feng o be do ko labe do adu mo kemelu keme woro be ñon tambe ka siawati o be fital dal damaldi anen driver ani men yalan ko kata jeni telephone ti yada yada da ko nyi mum bundal ti mi yalan ko do ko bundal batan len do kulal fon fan jama laban do ko be kerinte wol danga do yata jel so anana men ke wala mo e ko do so men dala fo kanya ko di jama fe wol bank la makoro do 6.4 billion woro billion so re men ke nyatling ka ko do kulal ke tala yi mon nan kam men tala ja ko kayenta mo keminani mo tallu ni woro wol fon le da e faye me da if ya ko mol siata dum foy mol tala e ko sa nyuma le def ke daha nga femba di la ko bi mol soto ye daha mo kemenani mo taw talul ni woro wol ye daha e fanne adu mi ko be to nyama ye ko do di do le be je mi nyango wulke no woro soto do le be je mi nyango wulke no lu soto do le be je mi nyango tala fo million ako sa info mo jama wa de kol kan ka fa ko anda bulale ali ma ko ro kan fa sa ro kele ka to ko membe keri nde o ko da sanne bala ke dandara min na mo kana manyol nyini adu ngaro piya musori ako ay bunda ay yitande ko fana jim fana mo face de face fula nyaw mo keme mo talu be da halale face fula nyaw mo keme mo tan seni fula be da halale bar ñu na da harin kola man sa kunda fero da ka je ko fana ke be train ko renje pour ka metti do double me nan ko be ñu compagnie fa ma ko ne fa ma ko e banko ma ko fana akoy de tulo nyama akon ndina ñi tan di fana ko ñin gampos fana la karola même foje ako gampos be batale mbakele because so tumo ka do ku nyamen so bi jama lawa fana lo ka yele atine ka so fongol boytale ila do kulal be siale njo fon kala fe ko yale bul bale wala man sa kunda contrat ko yele sai idim bibi company mi alon ko amina be kala ko ñi money platform men kam to wef be nyamente ko men biya mo MDA fo nyame ministre ma ko ditel bake bari abe wala nyama company ko ñin karfa ni ala sonda ila ko be pare la fereng ibe kala ko wef be nyamen inim bankol blobe lor ye sere so kono isi ko do transfer hani bank famoto o tugo fango imon pare folo a idan ko ye police fana so le a idan di fana ko police kono be men kam ndako I don't know ministry platform so men kam ndako Mansa Kunda la do ko bundal ko be sitala so kono ci visa nyini sitala so kono passeport nyini Mansa Kunda man la fa le barale do rangolto so bundal be atele ba be so yani lale aje ko ni cyber security ko fana e disaster recovery fana so le men yalon ko wol fana be problem so fala so minister ko ni company men be sila nyako rete ako Mansa a hameta men na je hol min hameta men na je ako hameta men na je nay submarine cable be je ka fa es men kan company be connect fala internet soto ako company be fakal so you submarine kutama be wala ko to anita la kene fa ni ko kata bakal ako no soto da anin data center wala kibaro be ka janya ni ndoku bundal ni banko be kan kew ibe kum mena damen de ka fa data center ako no sotoda ado nyim company be yebe londi singola ko nyanda kala nyame wala president fon hamodi ako no keta ajikita ni nako ni banko be kala nyonta waldi anu abe hamere ni nambe sa makoy be si president makoy pour ni ndokol men ye nyatli la be si sorono alma asla o kila mashallah yo it's not easy. I am Mr. Ibrahim Dabo, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. Ndamo Ibrahim Dabo, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Dabo. Thank you, Mr. Dabo. Abarka Baki, Abarka. Thank you so much. We are very constrained with time. We have only 20 minutes to go. So the floor is now open for questions and answers with observations for the Ministry of Digital Economy. The floor is open. Thank you.
maa ngi tudda Modou Lamin Diouf maa ngi nuyu ñi fi teew yëpp di nuyu honorable Lamin Jabbi si leeral yi nga xamante ne indi nga ko maa ngi liggéeyal Hilltop FM su ma njël benn laaj bëggoon na ñu indi leeral rek si mbiri Gamtel si olof because liñ nekk di dégg si dëkk bi mooy nguuri président Adama Barrow daanaka bunti réew mi yëpp jaay na ko Gamtel tam mu ngi koy jaay so dafa mel ni ba léegi des naa leer ci nangutoo Gamtel pour suqali ko lan la jaay la wala dafa am nu mu tëddee Gamcel right ok jikta bëggoon naa pour laajte si lu jëm si wàllu .gm domaine bi I must say ne léegi mostly email yu dee jógee State House Office of the President dañ dee gis ne .gm bi sax lañ nekk di use bu njëkk da nga daan gis email yi fa jógee amee li fi naka tudda Gmail waaye léegi loolu gisatuñ ko waaye li nga wax si mbiri domaine bi ne ñu ngi ko war a téyel suñ boppa comme réew bëgg naa xam time frame bi lan la kañ la lañ ko séntu as well as passport application yi ñu war a mën a def online time frame bi lan la finally tam si mbiri data security bi gis nañ recently police yi téye nañ ñu bari si lu relate to cyber crime and all that réew mi bëgg na moo move to digital space bi naka lañ how prepared are we si lu jëm si wàllub kaaraange ci fatna boobu noonu ak also si wàllub monetization because gis nañ ne suñ content creators yu bari seen mënuñoo make xaalis si seen plateforme si because lu ci bari dinañ la wax ne Gambia bokkut si réew yooyu noonu naka lañ mën a def ba gis ne ñun tamit suñ content creators si dinañ mën a monetize seen plateforme si am si dara nguur tamit am si dara lii moo nekk laaj yi ma bëggoon a laaj jërëjëf.
Still open it for another question.
Thank you, Fatmata. Good evening. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for that brilliant presentation. I have two questions, just a quick one, to Gamshell, GM, and one to Gamtel. GM, it's good to know that you are going into PPP, and we want to thank government for approving that because it's the way forward. We know it's been very challenging. Give us your 3 top priorities to get us back into business because you will agree with me, you are left with your loyal customers. Okay. Number 2, MD Gamtel. Part of your mandate is to roll out telecommunication services to every doorstep, being data or voice. It's been very challenging because you cannot reach every household with regards to fiber. Because in telecom business, we know civil works is the most expensive in the business. And I was privileged to work in Gamtel and also in the private ISP. And I have seen within these 2 years I work in the private ISP, they have covered 100% in Greater Banjul and in the Combos. And with us Gamtel, what can we do so that we cannot lose the grip in the market and we can try to reach out others who needs to get our services. Honorable Minister, the social package was created, which was very good because it is the way forward. What my fear is like, we must not lose most of our key staff because we may lose them to like other operators and it may be very risky. So I think it's very important to consider keeping some of your key staffs who may have the institutional memories. Thank you very much.
Somebody? Yeah.
One more, then we answer the questions.
Good evening. I am Usman Serikan, a reporter from GRTS. So I have 2 questions for you, Honorable Minister. And the first one is that, so I understand that your ministry was planning to map the Gambia's critical information infrastructure until you conducted some training. I want to know how far this is, you have gone with this. And the second one is that you also mentioned the proliferation of digital tools, specifically you mentioned mobile phones. But we know that most of these tools cannot be effectively used without data connection. And what's happening in the country, we know, in terms of data, it's simply costly. So I would like to know what the ministry can do regarding this. Thank you.
Honorable Minister and team, the floor is yours for answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because I have my Deputy Permanent Secretary responsible for programs and projects, I'll be happy for him to address the first question that came from the gentleman. Then I'll answer the rest. Thank you.
Wow. Laajte bi nga doon laajte mooy ne about Gamtel ak Gamcel ndax government dañ ko jaay wala jaayuñ ko pour leeral ko so honorable minister ministry bi ñu ne Gamtel jaayuñ ko lu ñoo def ak Gamtel mooy ne dañ invite partnership ñooñu ñëw invest ko waaye duñ am benn share so dafa mel ni lu ñoo wax PPP la waaye Gamcel government pare naa jaay yéen a shares nekkul ne compagnie bi yëpp lañ jaay waaye dañ invite investment yaa ngi doon laajte affaire yi cyber security daf nañ si lu bëri soo bàyyee xel ñu ngi am lu ñoo wax cyber crime bill boo xam ne mu ngi National Assembly di xaar pour ñu def ko loi si cyber security tam am nañ lu ñoo tuddee SAT mooy luy monitor suñ jaww ji di xool security ba pare di ko respond on the pura boobu tam establish nañ ko am nañ cyber security directorate tam boo xam ne mu ngi liggéey ay loi ak di xool di jàngal nit ñi naka ngay nekkee si internet bi ak nooy CV ak yooyu noonu yëpp muy ay jéego yoo xam ne jël nañ ko si waa di project bi tam am nañ activité yu bëri yoo xam ne mu ngi def affaire cyber security jërëjëf.
If I may just answer the first two questions, or maybe I think they are now in one question because the first question, your other question was partly addressed by in his answer. But let me be clear for the purpose of those who would just understand in English. Gamtel, we are not selling. Gamtel, we have invited investors to come in and invest into it. In creating a digital economy, you cannot let go everything. It's not happening anywhere in the world. It is sensitive in terms of security. Strategic-wise, it wouldn't make much sense. The whole world is going back to it. If you sell everything that is your critical infrastructure today, tomorrow, what do you have if they walk away? We simply say strategically we want investors into it to make sure that we bring about some form of sanity, period. When it comes to Gamcel, we are simply giving away some shares for investment. And even for that, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, we have received so many applications, expression of interest from so many international companies. But we said we have to give opportunity to the local companies. And why? Based on experience. If you give it to a local company, that is a Gambian company that just gets a few shares. Whatever money they get tomorrow, the money sits here. It's never going to be floated out of this country. Sometimes you don't need to say everything, but that's the strategic reason. So for those shares, it's important we give it to somebody to bring about some form of efficiency. Government may not be a very good businessman sometimes, but it's important that public-private partnership, we encourage it at times. And that's the ratio and the reason behind this. Now, on the issue of the mobile phone proliferation, data connectivity and data costs. I assume the question is, what are we doing with the high cost of data? Of course, it may be linked to a recent experience we just have. As I speak to you, like I put up with the public announcement, a committee that was constituted to look at tariff issues has just submitted its report, which would be tabled to the cabinet or before the cabinet. And something good is there for the people of this country, I can assure you. Now, these data things, whatever, there are so many factors. We need to change some of the business models. And let me throw it back to him, possibly you understand. It's like you have a depot, a car garage at the terminal. You bring limousine, you bring so many different cars there, expensive ones, very expensive ones. And then they are in millions and a population of 100,000. You know, everybody can get a car. But the cars need to be used on a highway. Some of those cars need certain standards. The highways need certain standards before they could be driven on them. So we have a lot of capacity at the GSC. But that capacity needs to be taken on a backbone. Even if you roll it over on that backbone, the last mile may be a challenge. So one of the reasons why it may be still expensive, we have to address the last mile. And that is one reason why we said, Gamtel, go ahead with your project, a $50 million project. Once that is done, this is the history. So the factor is not just because it's expensive because of so many reasons. It's like your car is there, but the road is not ready. So let's give them the opportunity to make the road. If you travel back in time, and you see the amount of money that Gamtel has lost simply because the gateway was actually managed by foreign gateway operators. If you look at a report that was somehow submitted some years ago, we're talking about very close to over $900 million. That cannot happen now in this government. And that's where we are. But we'll be there soon. Give us 2 years, it will be history. In fact, 2 years may be too much. And not only that, we have other measures at the level of the ministry. What are we doing? How do you make sure that these tariffs come down? Business models must change. We are engaging quite a number of them, stakeholders. But we also want the participation of our own local people in these service delivery mechanisms and framework identification and or whatever you do with them. But you cannot just leave it like that. It is a merry-go-round. I do it, you do it. And then everybody does it. In other words, all command each and each in its turn all. Then we'll be there. So thank you very much.
Yo, Honorable, barka bake yo Jabbi mendi mamira kumata bake puru kawdi adum bejininka la fanamba tentu lamba jayela yemen nyininka nyanta wala nyininka la adu ya nyininka damento nyanta kala wolto bari bi be janne bar molle ben jibe kam molle be la manka elam na yo babitum mamira bi nyin ko nyanta ko helal bari Honorable Felaya Sata ako Gamtel mantara wafikan ada luna janne ayafo file boss court mbela boss melde memo His Excellency President Adama Barrow ako ning entity teng alafta make sure ke protect pour yetara mbulo ngana men na wala mu PPP public private partnership where mune nati ay tanda komen tolu kodo men janta expense la pour kan infrastructure ka upgrade o man tambulo ba nga mo so me alon ka interest ta ko mina nga ko do dundi nale profit sharing ka nga honorable nyinam fonkote so wala be caring amela ka bo bila momo bela moy kam momo ke kam tel la ko fenke e nyanta fa hamla ko gamtel mantara wa fikang gamtel abe hansaing Mansa Kunda bulu adu management ba atamande ka management me yalon ko hansaing wala beje so lafta ko men pour ka wala e la ko mo nyambas pour nyinen kar la sa understand momo fambe la moy kan e sa understand ala baraka bake.
Sorry.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Prof, I think we are constrained with time. Yeah. Which one?
That guy. On the
Just a quick one, 1 minute.
Yeah. On the .gm, I think we are very close to getting it back. We have put in place all the things that are required. We have hired a technical manager and an administrative manager, which is a requirement by ICANN, who have started putting together some of the things that we required, like policies, procedures, regulations for the .gm. And we have also worked with PCH, which is Packet Clearing House, which is an organization that helps countries with their DNS and their CCTLDs. And they have helped us, donated us with some servers that we will be using to operate the .gm. And we have tested, installed those at the Serekunda Exchange Point, and we have tested them. They are working. All that we now require is for a co-location of the Serekunda Exchange Point with the .gm at the GSC to provide for constant access to electricity, security, and also fiber optic cable. So that's where we are. As soon as we finish that co-location negotiations, we will then write to ICANN to start the redelegation process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jalo, DG. I've been receiving a message. Somebody just sent me a message. So there are areas where connectivity is very poor. Is there any where the GAMCEL planning to expand to serve more communities? Thank you. GAMCEL. Yeah. Okay, please go ahead.
I believe government has taken this bold step to rescue the national operator. And with this PPP, the three main, okay. The three priorities we're looking at currently is to expand the network. We will expand and upgrade the network to 4G and 5G. We're the only operator that is currently on 2G and 3G. Every other operator in this market has a 4G or a 5G. The other one is the billing system. We have a very obsolete billing system, and the billing system also needs to be replaced so that we can provide value-added services to these customers. We're also looking at the right sizing of GAMCEL. The social plan has already addressed that because, as the Honorable Minister has said, and MD, the workforce, we are overstaffed, and this is why it is important to right size. So that is being implemented already. So with the network, with this PPP, it will address those issues.
Honorable Minister.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just for clarity, we are not taking everybody out like he said. The studies is done. Those who are going to go, I've already mentioned who they may be. But let me say this PPP for GAMCEL, for the purpose of clarifying. We have given opportunity to local companies to express interest. They did. We asked them to submit RFP proposals. They did, out of which we did assessment. And I'm glad to say, with SC is here, we took it to the cabinet. We have approved that we can now engage one of them who is successful, whose actually bid is very responsive. And what is inside that bid, just a summary line of it, what they want to do. They are ready to come and invest very close to 6.7 billion of our Gambian dollars, is very close to 93 million US dollars. They are ready to invest that into GAMCEL. And once they do that, all sites of GAMCEL will be up running on a more advanced technology. No more 2 or 3G. We are going for 4G, LTE, 5G. And they have in fact committed to actually put in place at least very close to 300 or more sites for 4G LTE. And over 25 sites, especially within the greater Banjul areas, for 5G. And then we are now in the process of negotiating with them. That very soon, hopefully by the end of this month or early next month, we are hoping, subject to Cabinet's approval, that we will sign this agreement with them. They, according to them, they have already started procuring a billing system. And once that billing system comes in, a good number of the sites and some of the services of Gamcell would be very effectively provided. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman.
Oh.
It reminded me about our Sutra wallet. I'm pleased to inform the audience and Gambians here and abroad that this Sutra wallet, it can be used with or without internet. So somebody can be at Koina, whether there's internet or not, the person can make use of the Sutra wallet. And it is also usable on all types of phones, not necessarily smartphone. Even these ordinary small phones, you can use it. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again. On behalf of the Honorable Minister of Information and his team, that is Dr. Ismail Assise, the PS, Mr. Haruna Darame, Fatoumata, we thank Honorable Minister and his team, the government officials present today. Good night and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.